Guys, when you're watching this video, I want you to keep in mind, when we had all these shootings in El Paso, Dayton, Chicago, the incident that happened in California not too long ago, when we had these shootings, remember, if one person, even two, would have had firearms, these shootings would have been prevented. They could have been stopped. And casualties, if any, would have been minimized to, if not only the shooter, then the shooter and maybe one or two other people who may have gotten hurt, unfortunately. But the shooter definitely could have been stopped. But with nobody having the ability to protect themselves, we see what happened. You see, California has some of the strictest gun laws in the country. This kid was able to get a gun that is illegal in the state and used it to commit a crime. So you see, gun laws are not working. As I stated in this video, they're not working because criminals don't follow laws. And that's just period. So remember, get the proper training, get your carry permit, abide by your state and federal laws, carry your guns, protect yourselves, protect your family, protect your friends, those around you. Because I'm telling you now, if I'm in a situation like this, I'm not going to just sit back and watch my friends, family, and those around me die because I had to wait 6 minutes for the first officer to show up on the scene, as they did in El Paso. A lot happens in 6 minutes. I've had several officers tell me when I was on the job doing security over the years. I've had Metro, Nashville police officers tell me, sheriffs, and other officers tell me to my face that my job was more dangerous than theirs because by the time they show up on the scene, the incident is already over and they're just cleaning up the mess after the fact. So take that into consideration when you're talking about taking people's ability to protect themselves away. Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Big Dre, and I've been doing a little bit of thinking and listening to news reports. We had a lot of people that lost their lives over the weekend in different shootings, and I look at the people out here. The first thing that everybody goes to is, we got a gun problem. We need the government to do something. We need more gun control. We need to ban this, ban that, whatever. True, a lot of people lost their lives to unnecessary gun violence, but it's not a gun issue. It's not a gun accessibility issue. It's a people issue. Some of these people make posts on Facebook and social media and make comments to friends, family, and that stuff goes ignored. Nobody does anything about it. Nobody addresses it. They just brush it off as they just talking. And then when they do something, then everybody wants to step up. Oh, we gotta ban guns. We gotta do this. No. What you need to do is, when you see people posting these things, you need to address it and try and get that person help. That's a mental health issue. That's some instability there in that individual that needs to be fixed. You know, yeah, you may hate a certain type of people or whatever the case may be, but that doesn't mean you go out and kill a bunch of innocent people because of it. You know, firearms, you can make all the gun laws you want. You can. You really can. You can make all the gun laws you want. You can ban guns, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, they are criminals. The criminals didn't follow the law to begin with. They didn't honestly acquire their weapons. Some of them, well, the majority of them, there was one or two that did, but the majority of them stole their guns. The one guy, he killed his mother and stole her guns, you know, in that one shooting at that movie theater. You know, and it's just, they don't follow the law to get the guns. So the guy in California, he had a gun that's not even legal to even be sold in the state. Couldn't even have it in the state, period. But he managed to have that gun with illegal capacity magazines in a state where he wasn't even supposed to have the gun to begin with. So, I mean, before you try and say more gun control, you need to think about that. They're criminals. How is gun control, how are your gun laws going to stop them? They're not following the ones you have now. So how is new ones going to stop them? Confiscation. What are you going to confiscate? I'm going to tell you now, criminals are not going to give you their guns. You don't even know they have them in the first place. So you can't even go confiscate them if you wanted to. And if they did somehow manage to get them and you know about them, they're not going to just bring them to you. You're going to have to go take them. Period. They're criminals. They don't buy their guns legally. They don't go through FFL dealers at stores. They buy them from Little Ricky on the streets or something. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to buy their guns legal. Quit brainwashing these people and making them think that gun control and gun laws are going to make things better and fix it. And it's not. All you're doing is trying to push your agenda to try and control people. That's all you're doing. And you need to stop. Stop lying to people. You've got people out here thinking, oh, well, if we ban this gun, then this won't happen. That's not true. And you know it's not true. You just want to push your own personal agendas up there in Washington. And in whatever state you're in, pushing this anti-gun control crap. So, at the end of the day, we need to start dealing with the mental health aspect of these people and not blaming the guns. Guns are inanimate objects until someone picks it up and uses it. So, if somebody with a mental issue that didn't legally buy a firearm, meaning they didn't have to answer the question of whether or not they've been committed to a mental institution for treatment via the courts or personal, then of course they're going to be able to get the gun to do whatever because they obtained it illegally. Everybody talks about background checks. If you buy a gun, you have to do a background check unless the state allows for private citizen to private citizen sale. You know, I can understand an issue with that. And I can't deny, you know, we should have that right. But when stuff like this happens, it makes you think, you know, well, maybe we should have to take it and transfer it through an FFL versus just doing street deals, you know. But at the same time, even with that, criminals are going to sell other criminals guns on the black market. They're still not going to follow that law because they're criminals, man. Get that through your heads. Quit punishing law-abiding citizens for the acts of criminals, people that don't follow the law. Quit making all these unnecessary laws, which are laws that we pretty much already have in place, and punishing the people that actually need the guns for protection and use them for the right reasons. Okay? When you think about it, if you put a gun law in place that says you have to do a federal background check to buy a gun. Okay, when you go to a FFL dealer and buy a gun, meaning when you go to a store to buy your gun, they run a background check, which goes through their state and through the FBI database. So that would be technically a federal background check. go buy your firearm, a waiting period is not going to change anything. What is that going to change? I'm going to make you wait 10 days to pick up your gun. What is that doing? The background check literally takes 10 minutes to clear. So why would they wait 10 days to pick up a gun when the background check was done already? What are you waiting on? You know, when a bad guy goes out to the streets to buy a gun, he doesn't have a waiting period. He doesn't have to worry about a background check. You know, he doesn't have to worry about anything because he's paying half the price he would have paid for it at the store, and nobody knows he has it. Nobody knows he has it except for him, the fly on the wall, and the person he bought it from. They're the only ones that know. So when he goes out and commits a crime, if you don't catch him, you're not going to catch him because you don't have anything to go on. Especially if the gun was stolen. You know, so I mean, y'all gotta start thinking for yourself, man. Quit listening to these politicians and these people in Washington because they're full of shit. They're gonna lead you astray and have you out here thinking one thing. I've talked to other people and I explained to them, I was like, think about it. All these mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. The government's not gonna tell you this. They're not gonna tell you, oh, well, it was a gun-free zone. You know, they're not going to tell you that. Why? Because they know if you figure out, well, it was a gun-free zone, he knew nobody there was going to have a gun, and there was less of a chance of him getting shot, is the reason he went there to shoot the people he shot. Because he knew no one was going to be shooting back at him. If you come to Tennessee, where probably 2 out of every 6 people walking down the street has a firearm, you don't see this type of stuff happening. Because you will get shot. And that incident is going to end very quickly with minimal casualties. So when you look at places like California that have really strict gun laws, I think 2 out of the 3 mass shootings happened in California. You had the YouTube deal, and then this last incident a couple weeks ago, the incident in Chicago. Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, period. In Illinois, it's ridiculous how strict it is to get a gun. But yet, you have one of the highest murder rates in the country, period. So, the gun laws aren't working because the criminals, once again, are not following the laws. So, they're pointless. So when you look at all these gun shootings, these mass shootings that's happened, schools, churches, movie theaters, the concert in Vegas, all these places are no gun zones. They knew going in when they planned this, there was not going to be anybody in there that could fight back and defend themselves. And that's why they did what they did where they did it. So at the end of the day, gun control is worthless. It's only hurting the people that need it the most, the law-abiding citizens. So talk to your local politicians and let them know, hey, look, these gun control measures y'all are trying to put in place are hurting me and not the criminals. Because at the end of the day, like I've said multiple times throughout this video, the criminals are not going to follow the law. And I'm going to tell you, I know for a fact that as easy as it is to buy a gun at a store, going through the normal process, your background check and everything, it's easier to go and buy one off the black market, off the streets. And I'll tell you how I know for a fact. When I was 17 years old, I had a Glock 17, a Smith & Wesson 38, and a Remington 16 gauge sawed-off. I was 17. And I bought them myself. So I know for a fact that you can get those guns off the streets with no problem. So gun control is not going to help. Confiscation is not going to help because no one other than the person I bought those guns from knew that I had them. So who was going to come and take them? No one knew I had them to come take them. The person's house that I had the guns hid at didn't even know the guns were there. So at the end of the day, I was able to do what these so-called politicians tell you they can stop, and they can't. They're full of crap. At the end of the day, if a criminal wants to get his hands on a gun, he's gonna do it, or she's gonna do it. If somebody wants to kill multiple people, they're gonna figure out a way to do it. Whether it be a pipe bomb, car bomb, crashing a car into some people, running around stabbing people, they're gonna do it. It doesn't matter whether it's a gun or not. There was an incident not too long ago where the guy crashed his car into a bunch of people and hurt and killed some people or whatever. Alright, so what are they gonna do? They're gonna start banning cars? You know, it's ridiculous. If you ban everything that somebody got killed with in this country or in the world, then you'd be banning all kinds of stuff. Hammers, hatchets, knives, forks, cars, trucks, rocks. You know what I'm saying? You'd be banning everything. So think about it before you open your mouth and start talking about, well, you're going to ban this because of that. For what? It's not going to stop it. You know, rest in peace to all those that lost their lives. Condolences go out to all those families. It's a tragedy that happened. But at the end of the day, the people that committed these crimes need to suffer for what they did. They need to pay for their crimes, period. You know, the one shooter in Ohio, he killed his own sister and didn't even know it. So that's something that's going to have to haunt him for the rest of his life. And I'm not sure if they actually shot him and killed him, or if he killed himself, or if they just took him into custody. I know they were saying one of the guys was taken into custody without incident. I'm going to tell you now, I think that's total bullshit. Because you killed all these people and you didn't even get tased. Hell, I can barely walk down the street with my concealed carry permit with my firearm on me without worrying if the cop is going to stop me and ask me a question and find out I have a gun and shoot me for nothing. But you go out here and kill multiple people and walk away scot-free. And I think that's bullshit. But, you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you're caught, you're locked up, and hopefully justice will prevail. And hopefully you won't walk away from this without any type of punishment. But like I said, condolences to all those families, prayers to all you guys. And I would consider, if you don't have it, get your carry permit, get you some training, learn how to protect yourself with the right firearm for you, because it's needed, definitely. No one should be out here unable to protect themselves in any type of situation. Alright? Y'all have a blessed day. This is your boy Big Dre, and I'm out. Deuces.